Hi everyone, and welcome back for our fourth episode from Beyond Tech. My name is Patricia, I'm a digital data analyst, and I'm your new host of this new season dedicated to data. On today's episode, we are not going to focus on a technical topic, but rather on the collaboration between two distinct roles. I'm talking about the UX designer and the digital analyst. For those unfamiliar with these two roles, the UX designer focuses on the actual creation of a seamless and enjoyable experience for the users of digital products, while the digital analyst focuses on the actual outcome of this, so he analyzes the user behavior of those same digital products. These two roles often are seen as worlds apart, but they are actually converging into a new business trend that shifts towards the prioritization of user satisfaction throughout the use of data-driven approaches. To join us today, we have two experts that actually could bridge this gap quite successfully. We have Filipa, UX designer, and João Martins, digital analyst. And first of all, thank you both for joining us today. And throughout this episode, we are actually going to dive into how data insights can help shaping some business decisions in terms of design, the challenges of integrating these fields, and maybe the most important part, the remarkable outcomes that can come from this synergy. So whether you are a designer, an analyst, or simply someone curious about how these two roles collaborate with each other, just stay with us on this episode and engage in this conversation. So once again, thank you guys for joining today. And as you can see, we have two guests today, so the dialogue will be slightly different. We have two different roles here represented by two colleagues, and this next question is basically I'm going to do a question, maybe to start with Filipa, and then what I will ask is João to give the other side of the coin, so in this case the analyst output for the same question. And actually my first question is to Filipa. And let's start maybe to clarify to the curious audience that is watching us today, what is actually the process from design to analytics? So how does this collaboration actually works?
Yeah, okay, so starting off with a tricky one. All right, so from my side, I think first of all it's very important to state that this collaboration is super important when we are trying to reach a product or a solution that is user-centered. So this collaboration for me should start very early on. So when we think about the design process, even before we start making the doodles everyone thinks we do, and thinking about the concepts, we need to clearly state what the problem is and have clear and concrete goals towards solving these problems or learning about these problems even first before solving. And that's already where I see data being very important. So either being research, user research or analytics, we should be aligned on the common goal. Then start with the research and the analysis, and together try to figure out the insights that we can take out of it in order to make data-informed decisions in the design and the final concepts and so on. And of course, this is not a very linear process.
Yeah.
This is a cycle that keeps repeating itself, and the iteration process takes analytics, of course, always as a part.
And João, now from the other side, so from analytics to design, how can actually data influence UX design decisions in this case?
Yeah, thank you for your answer, Filipa. And you went right with something I believe it's very important. It's very much a cycle. Sometimes it's not very much a line. So it can even start from the analytics perspective or towards the analytics perspective. So many times it can happen that there's business questions that we have a problem that we want to answer, like regarding our users, regarding our business. So this is where a lot of our work as the data analyst comes from. So we start looking into the data, we start looking not only into quantitative data or user testing, but we start looking also ways of improving what we have. So that's the thing about digital transformation, is that we start having much more information about what is the visual experience. So digital analysts have a lot that can grab and try to improve and help not only designers but all the stakeholders in having a better decision that improves customer experience. So there are a lot of processes, but generally it can start either from a business question, but can also start like we have some kind of trend. We are seeing that users are dropping in this stage. We are seeing that there are some issues in terms of conversion metrics. So there are a lot of stuff that we can analyze and then try to improve the product in that same way.
Oh, good. Thank you both for the answer. I believe it was clear for everyone. And exactly as you were saying, it's a continuous job, so it's a continuous collaboration that needs to exist to be able to get to fruitful results.
Friends forever.
BFFs, as I like to say. I like to say that the designers and the analysts are basically the work BFFs, and it should work that way.
Yeah.
All good, guys. For my next question, actually, this will be a slightly funny one. I already prepared you both for it. So this is actually a novelty for you, but for the ones that are watching us, this is no longer a novelty. So we decided to introduce in this new season, before we continue forward, a small icebreaker. And especially since you are two, this even gets funnier.
Oh no. This was not scripted.
This new round is called Think Fast, Answer Faster, so very creative, as you can see. And I'm going to ask you simple questions, some of them a bit funnier than the others, some of them related with your role, so it's supposed to be funny, Filipa, and simple.
Prepare.
So some of them will be for you both, some role related, and let's just start, and then you tell me, yeah, Patricia, you are crazy, what the hell are you doing? Or if not, at least we get more relaxed. All good. Let's then start with the first one. And this one is for you both. Which fictional character duo would represent the collaboration between UX and analysts?
Oh my God. There's so many great examples how to choose.
If you are having difficulties, I have a suggestion.
I don't know. Dynamic duo.
Think about detectives, for example.
Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
And Watson.
Yeah,
that
Watson.
was the first one that came to my mind.
Good one.
Like Sherlock Holmes, the analyst trying to investigate everything. Watson is best friend saying, "Did you try this already?"
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
nice.
what.
That's
It's
a good
true.
one.
It's
I'll
true.
go with you.
And I like the suggestion.
Yeah, the suggestion sounds good.
All good. Now the second one, and this one is just for João. What is the meme that would describe best the life of an analyst?
I know one. You know the one from Django with DiCaprio? He says, first I was curious, but now you have my attention.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Good one.
I thought as well the one with the dog saying, "This is fine," because
Yeah.
sometimes with all
Yeah,
of those bugs,
I was trying to not be negative. I was trying not to be
both.
negative.
That can apply to both.
Yeah.
I just thought about bugs. Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I like that one. Now, Filipa, if you could add one emoji in a user interface as a usability tool, which one would you pick? So you could add any emoji to a website. Which one would it be?
Any emoji to a website.
Yeah.
Okay. I would add the star so that users can rate us 5 stars.
Okay, I like that one. It's cute. It's a cutie. Now, João, so when you first accepted this challenge, just for context, João just told me, just don't ask me to do a TikTok dance. And I'm not going to ask you to do a
No.
TikTok dance, don't worry. But I want to know the following. What is your go-to celebration when you finally can fix that complex query that you spend a full day trying to fix? I want to know if there is a celebratory dance, at least.
I just make clear. Yes. Like this. Did it.
And then coffee.
And then coffee, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, Filipa, and this is the last one before I do a final one that is for you both. If you could magically disappear a frustrating UX issue, which one would it be? Anything. The thing that bothers you the most.
But without a concrete example, maybe a generic situation.
Yeah.
For me, it would be whenever I do user interviews and I know how the flow is supposed to go and how the user is supposed to use what we created, and they go about it and just do it all the way around and click things that I didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
So if I could eliminate that, yeah, that would be my first choice.
Yeah.
For the users to use it the way we intended to.
I guess we feel the same, like when we look at the user behavior,
Yeah.
sometimes we're like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, the problem is always on our side. The
Yeah.
users are not the problem, we are.
The
We need to
perspective.
rethink.
It's a
Yeah, it's the
matter of
perspective of
perspective.
things. Yeah. All good, guys. And now I have a final question. And this is actually the motto of this new season. So when I accepted this challenge, I told our communication colleagues that I have a theory that I'm looking to have some answers with this season. That is, I believe that every single person that works with data has a favorite graphic. And I want to know which is yours.
A favorite graphic? Graphic, like a
Like
visualization?
bars
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Ah, like a visualization. Okay. Definitely not a pie chart. I don't like a pie chart.
Okay.
I prefer the bars.
The bars, like a time series, like a trend, or just
Yeah, a trend.
like throughout time?
Yes,
Or, yeah,
yes, could
generally.
be, or just values. Yes.
Yeah,
I like
for me too, I'd better that the time series chart or bar chart or line chart or the horizontal bar chart.
It's
Generally.
easier to make it
navigate.
understandable, right?
Even
yeah.
a good old table sometimes can be well presented. So
Yeah, but I agree with the pie chart. It's cute,
don't
but
like
it's,
it.
Colorful?
yeah, it's colorful,
Yeah.
but it's not the best way to present. At least the data that we work with, it makes it super difficult sometimes. I liked your answers. So thank you guys for this funny time. I hope you are more relaxed now.
Much more now. Thank you.
Let's then proceed forward. And my next question, and now I can start with João. It's about how it's been your experience with this collaboration with UX so far. So, and why it is why it is important to foster this collaboration inside the teams.
I think something very curious, and I think got throughout time in terms of digital transformation, is that designers and analysts from the outside, generally people don't see them as similar or with similar background, with similar profiles and such. But we both like a lot problem solving, and throughout the most part here at MB.io, I think it's part of our genesis. And since we have much more available data on visual experience, so we have to foster this kind of cooperation because we have data. There's the expertise also from design side. So I think it's very important to foster that kind of influence and cooperation in terms of work. Additionally, something that Digital Analysts we also like to do a lot when we have resources for it is doing A/B testing. So this is also something in terms of user research. When you launch features, try to have this kind of approach where you can show two different experiences to random users and see which one works best, and we try to deliver the best experience to our users. So this is something that we also want to work a lot in that matter.
And Filipa, on your side, do you have anything else to add here from your experience?
Yeah. So for me, as a product designer, I always rely on data and being analytics, user research, to get to know our users. Without this information, we would be basing our work only on our own assumptions or opinions. So we are here using unquestionable information to drive the decision-making process on design. So that's very important. And as you mentioned, A/B test for us, for example, when we are dealing with two different concepts, two different versions, and we want to understand which one performs better, which one will bring a better return or convert better, A/B test is a great solution for that. So we can always count on our team to support there. I think those are good points.
And going on the same direction, so far good experiences, but I believe there are challenges as well. And I want to understand next to you, which are then those challenges that we face in our daily life, and how we should actually address them. I can go to Filipa now.
Yeah, okay. So from the top of my mind, one concern I sometimes have with being too close to data or being very obsessed with data as a product designer is to kind of lose a bit of the creativity or intuition. So I think it needs to be a balance. So data provides very important insights. Let's say that, a concrete example, we realize that a certain component or module is underperforming. So it's not achieving the goals we set up for them. So we need to use this creatively from product design side, not really discard that component or that module, but use our creativity in problem solving and understanding, okay, what can we do to change this? What can we do to meet user expectations better? So these need to go hand in hand. And also, sometimes one of the problems we need to deal with is either poor quality of the data or misinterpretation of the data. So it's always good that we try to be very thorough with the methodologies that we use, that we try to use more than just one single source of data so that we can get the full picture, because numbers don't give us the full story or the full context. So everything we can use to complement this and to have a better way to analyze the data, that's the way to go, I think.
That's why the user testing, the prior versus the after testing, it makes sense to then complement the full journey. And João, from your side, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes for the analyst the issue as well starts with business. And do you think actually it's getting easier to convince business that this is important, we really need to focus on this type of studies?
Yeah, to complement here a bit your vision, I think there's also something very important on data, which is context. When you look, especially in digital analysts, we look at especially quantitative data. So sometimes we look at insights and bring this insight, analysis, A/B tests, whatever, and sometimes we don't have the full picture of what is happening to users. And it already happened to me a few times that I get this information that users might be dropping, some component was underperforming, as you were saying, but then we don't know always why is it happening. So this is where it comes experience, qualitative information, user testing, user feedback, all these kind of data points, also different kind of data to have this better decision. So it's a matter of balance, as you were saying. Also, I think there's a need for having more willingness to challenge beliefs from any kind of stakeholder, any kind of expert. So I think it's very important in this cooperation to bring those insights. And I see that, answering your question, that business stakeholders are paying more and more attention to what data tells us. There's also the importance of having paired with service level agreements in what are the KPIs, what are the metrics, what kind of things that we are looking on, so to address these challenges, nevertheless. I also want to comment, sometimes what is difficult is for organizations to also establish what we want to track, not only in terms of metrics, but also the components that we want to answer. I have questions all the time. Does this component, is it very clicked? Do users visit this page? What is the actual journey? And sometimes we don't have this answer, so this requires planning at all levels to understand what we want actually to track, so that when we want to have a business or design decision, we have the correct insights.
That's again why it's very important that both sides
from
are
the start,
connected
from the start. It happens too often that something is launched and is not actually tracked from the beginning. So then we want, is this working well or not? So then we don't have the answer. So
and we lose the context. And even to answer to those questions, we always need the context from UX. Okay, what you are planning with this new model. So which type of journey? And as you were saying, if we don't have this since the beginning, we are losing the complete context of it.
That's why I think it's very important to have the cross-functional teams working together. So if I can sit at the same table as an analyst or user research, it's at the beginning of any process from design side, it's much better. So we can start the conversation there, we can align already on the goals, what is it that we need to look for in the data.
All good. Now, my next question to you, are there any specific skills, techniques, practices that you believe are essential for both roles to have for this collaboration to be successful, or at least in terms of trends, what is coming now for this?
I think communication is key. So as we were saying, being involved since the beginning, that's very important. Also, looking also towards more training or exchanging knowledge. So it's always good, for example, me as a product designer, I also need to know a bit about user research, about analytics, about how to interpret and look at the numbers to make all these connections that then come up towards the solution, right? So, and this needs to work both ways. So also analytics team needs to understand, okay, from our perspective, what is it that we are looking for, what is it that we need. And I had another point, so training, communication, and the tooling. So I think it's also very important because not just for us as designers to understand the numbers, and again, this part is very important because in our team we also exchange a lot with analytics, and the first time I saw certain analytics tools, they were able to explain a lot to us and integrate us in the whole process and the whole journey they took to reach those numbers. So that was very important to me, and I think it needs to go both ways. Like also in our design tools, analytics team is also allowed to leave comments, to pose questions, and that really facilitates the exchange with the tooling.
Yeah, I think also having a curious mind, adaptive mindset and openness from both sides is always good. Like as you said, also the same for us analysts, we like to go into Figma to understand what is actually being prototyped, and so that we can know, okay, I want to track this, understand the user journey, so that we can also try to define metrics and things that we want to track from the start. The same way probably you will go to Google Analytics or Power BI and have your questions and know your way around. So in terms of technical skills, this is also very good. Also trying to see how in terms of tooling and AI, not to use too much the buzzword, but how the roles will change and probably become much more cross-functional, and probably will have much more strategic vision throughout the whole product. So cross-functional teams for sure will have a part in that, in that sense. So in terms of also understanding the digital spectrum from both sides, like from me it's very common to also explain, okay, we have this kind of tracking setup, the digital analytics work this way with cookies and everything. So it's pretty much common to also explain these kind of areas. So openness, curious mind, always a good way to go for me.
Yeah, you were touching there an interesting point on, I think that relates to flexibility and being adaptive, because at the end of the day, we're all working towards the same goal. So it doesn't matter if this is the design decision or if this is the research decision. No, we are working together. So those kind of soft skills are also very important, I think, when collaborating.
Oh, good. And actually, and now as our final question, and picking up a bit of what you said, so you say for the collaboration to work, we should work in a cross-product team. So together, being involved on the decision, both sides, from the beginning until the end. And technically, there is no end.
There is no end.
This is a cycle. How do you actually see this collaboration between UX and analysts evolving in the future? Or at least, how would you like it to evolve in the future? Let's say it this way.
You were touching the point of AI. I think that could be interesting to explore, like eventually that it will inevitably influence the way we work together, and maybe we can get deeper insights, we can maybe optimize time a little better so that we can actually focus on so we can actually focus on what matters. I think again, learning, exchanging knowledge should be the way to go. And I even go as far as saying not just amongst us like product designers and analytics that work together, but across the company. So everyone should be aware of the benefits of taking this path when thinking about solving any type of problem.
Yeah. Agree with you. Do you have anything else to
No,
add?
I was going to add what I already mentioned a bit on A/B testing. So I believe it should be more and more as companies get more mature on the digital world and data side of things, is that probably we start having what I call the experimentation culture mindset. So we start having much more, okay, we have an idea, so we send this to product designers and analysts, experts. So, okay, I want to test this idea and try to increase velocity on experimenting stuff. So all the features that might relate, so any kind, if you think a lot of in what big tech does today, when you go into a streaming service or any kind of a big e-commerce shop, you start seeing that they're always A/B testing a lot. They're always experimenting a lot with users in real high scale on different markets and try to come up very quickly with new ideas. So I believe firmly that this right now in a lot of companies where emerging to the digital spectrum, it's still very a slow process, but in the future probably this will be much faster and we can have with higher scale. And I believe analysts and designers probably will have much more strategic view, also with the help of AI and increase on productivity automation, to have this kind of scale. This is at least my view.
All good, guys. Thank you so much for the conversation. I believe it was very enlightening for the ones watching us. So
let's hope
even,
so.
even for the curious ones that didn't understand what we do in our daily lives and why we are the BFFs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to you that is watching us now, share with us what you think about this collaboration. If you have further insights about these topics, share it with us. And thank you so much for watching us. See you on the next episode.